Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, while wandering the show floor of the Adobe Summit here in London, I bumped into Georgios Kargakis, and he's from Allianz. And we got talking about Allianz's technological developments, how tech was transforming the traditional world of insurance and financial markets, and also their marketing project that is being created using Adobe solutions. Now, the Allianz Group is one of the leading integrated financial service providers worldwide, serving approximately 85 million customers in more than 70 countries. Now, on the insurance side of things, Allianz is the market leader in the German market and has a strong international presence. And the organisation operates across a broad range of sectors, including commercial, engineering, retail and legal, to name but a few. But while at the summit, I've learned that Allianz has teamed up with Adobe to overcome a huge challenge. They want to migrate their complex online world to the Adobe Experience Manager and add the Adobe Marketing Cloud solutions. But this includes more than 15 customer portals, 50 application lines, over 20 applications, 10,000 websites for agents, brokers, and 5,000 websites for employees and employers. Included here is a variety of content pages for more than 1 million users per month, which can be calculated over 500,000 insurance offers, and then hopefully their customers. This is the kicker. They want to do all that in 15 months. So they're looking for a little help and looking for talented individuals who can accompany them on that journey. And they simply need to be armed with enthusiasm, creativity and verve. Now, we have solved many problems on this podcast in over 500 episodes and even enabled guests to meet their dream dinner date. So today I want to try and gift an amazing employment opportunity to everyone listening. Whether you are a developer, architect, designer, product owner or business analyst with loads or a tiny amount of Adobe Marketing Cloud know-how, Georgios told me that he wants you to be a part of their Makeathon in June. So stay tuned for more information on that at the end of the episode. But right now, I want to beam your ears all the way to London so we can speak with Georgios Kargakis from Allianz. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
My name is George Kargakis. I'm with Allianz Germany. I'm kind of head of IT Virtual Center of Competence for online marketing experiences, and we're introducing newly Adobe, the whole platform, all solutions all together. That's what I'm leading, and also I'm part of a, let's say, digital transformation teaming, where it's only what we're doing, it's also how we're approaching it in means of creating better experiences for our customers in the insurance sector in Germany for Allianz.
Fantastic. Now, the Allianz Group is one of the leading integrated financial service providers worldwide, and I believe you guys serve approximately 85 million customers in 70 countries. But for anyone listening that's hearing about you for the very first time and listening to you anywhere in the world and not quite sure what you do, can you just help them visualise what services you offer and also what problems you solve for customers?
I would distinguish two parts, right? So we have, first of all, the core business, where Allianz brings a legacy over 125 years, which go along with the company, which is very, very big and also very massive. So we're speaking about classic insurance products, which is of course life, which is health, and which is also all those P&Ls. Yeah, so this is our main business as is for today, and this is also very driven by efficiencies, very driven by premiums, very driven by cost efficiency, and very classical products in means of what our clients needed in the past and may need in future for having a more safe and healthy life in the end, and even when thinking about retirement, so growing older, to be safe, and so you can afford the things you afforded also in the past. So that's at the core, right? And what we're also facing, the second thing, is kind of the challenges we're facing with the new economy, with all those startups, with the customer behavior, which is changing, which massively has an impact of how we're building the products in future and how we're approaching our customers of tomorrow.
Fantastic. But as a football fan, whenever I hear about Allianz, I instantly think of Europe's most modern stadium, the Allianz Arena. When you see it, you immediately think of innovation and technology. So from the outside looking in, it seems that you're trying to offer customers a chance to experience these innovations firsthand and in turn be inspired to grab new opportunities without fear. I mean, has it always been important to you guys to form those partnerships with organisations that share your belief in embracing those new ideas and those new technologies?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yes, everybody knows Allianz from the stadiums. That's totally correct. And of course, all started in Munich with a very, very great team here in Germany. But yeah, I mean, when you think of where are the people and what are their needs, and you want your brand to have an impact in the markets, you also have to think of, so where is all these joys and all these happiness taking place in the normal life of our customers. And that's also an initiative why Allianz is investing lots of money, also introducing new programs and also campaigns, and the stadium campaigning and the sponsorships are one big part and initiative of that. It means of being there where our customers are, so having a touch point where they maybe are more in a leisure mood and enjoy their time being.
Obviously, you're working deeply with the digital transformation. So can you share some of Allianz's technological developments and also how they're actually enabling you to transform your business?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let's start with the product, right? I already told, looking at the core business, the classical products, you have a complex, right? So an insurance product is very complex. So regulation and the laws per country are, of course, difficulties you have to face, which make the product even more complex. And taking this into account and seeing where customer behavior and the world is changing and where that's driving to, the question is how to digitally approach that in a new way so everybody understands it better, everybody feels maybe more touched also by the product, to make it also a bit more emotional. And this, of course, requires the product in all to change, right? So classically today, if you want to make a motor insurance or something, let's say you have 5 process steps and you're entering data, and in the past in the online experiences we did not have, let's say I want to save or have an autosave function, so if my browser gets crashed, you have the problem that you have to re-enter all those data, so this is at the core, of course, a very, very easy function. But if you're looking at those products, making them more easier, let's say in 1 or 2 or 3 steps, like all those online principles to being able, having teasers and products which fit to your needs, what you need. Then of course the challenge is to make them more easy, more understandable. More emotional also in the means of contents and how we provide them, so that you not only feel touched, but you're also able in seconds to somehow get your policy, or at least we call this ROPO experiences. So ROPO stands for Research Online, Purchase Offline, right? As we know, it's very time consuming and it's very complex. What our customers mostly do is they research online, and then of course we call it next best action. So you're able within this process of getting your personal quote and buy to generate lead or chat with an sales agent, or even go to the tied agent of your trust in the nearest place where you're somehow located.
Cool. Well, here we are at the Adobe Summit in London. I mean, are there any big themes that you noticed in your short time here so far? And is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing or learning more about?
Yeah, I mean, I saw those keynotes in the early morning. It was all about hyper personalization and hyper everything almost. And of course, Adobe is providing lots of features, lots of tools. Content intelligence, for example, sounds like a buzzword, but if you look behind the scenes and if you look behind those functions and have understood the use cases and the powers such functions bring with them, of course, there are things to learn here. There are things also, lots of creative peoples, creative minds where you can connect and see how to adapt those ideas. To also empower your own people, bring those ideas back, adapt, and kind of improve and optimize their own business and their own websites, for example.
So can you tell me more about your latest marketing project and also the role that Adobe's solutions are actually playing in that project?
Yeah, we have of course, we are migrating and launching very newly to Adobe at Allianz, we have to say. So probably we're one of the first clients who contracted almost all solutions and tries to bring all those solutions up to speed and ready, so our marketers and our agencies are capable and are able to use them for making the classical business in a new way, which may be more effective, which may be more productive. And then those features come into play. Let's say, okay, I want to have those segments, I want to target even deeper from a one-to-many to a one-to-one and so on. And this is the vision which will help our business to grow, I assume.
So just going back to those keynotes, I mean, are you finding that consumers are buying experiences rather than products now? And it's about the relationship rather than the transaction? And if it is, I mean, how is Adobe helping you create those better experiences for your customer?
I'm a very true believer that customers are buying experience rather than products. If you match that to the insurance sector, it's the experience based on trust, right? So a classical insurance product is has been in the past a very good product. You made the policy once, a life insurance, let's say, or a pension plan, has to last maybe, let's say, 25 till 35 years. Mm-hmm. And if you got your letter once per year, it was somehow fine when you saw that your premiums are guaranteed, that your interest rate is growing and so on, and you've been safe. And changing that is a very, very big challenge in means of creating online experiences or getting the direct sales or a digital pure play better done in means of how to address those products with the needs of the customers of tomorrow. And there we are also starting to rethink everything at the core, right? So we are in a lot of discussions with startups. Mm-hmm. We also are observing and questioning some of these startups. I mean, we are in partnership with Lemonade in the US, which is kind of a startup lighthouse project in the insurance sector. And of course, we're learning a lot, and that makes us, as the whole Allianz, very challenging in means of how should our products look like. And to give you an example, which we are working at, is a product for life insurance where it's not the letter per year and the policy which defines you as a customer, but an online subscription, an online registration, even if you're not paying any premium. And then maybe the possibility and all those things you would like to have in means of, let's say, a pure flat rate or kind of pay as you like. So you have, of course, some benefits out of the policy if you're then paying in, but having also the flexibility to choose how to pay, when to pay, and so on. And this is changing, and there we are working on some projects to make them kind of very, very digital and on-off kind of thing.
It really just saying that there's a big shift towards flexibility than rigid plans now, doesn't there?
Yeah, sure.
So are there any other ways that digitization and creativity are helping you transform your business?
Yes, they are. I mean, if you're having a look into our IT, for example, how we did projects in the past and all those methods coming with the digital transformation journeys, which we newly have been introducing, maybe also for more than 1.5 years at Allianz. So there's a lot to see, not only what we're doing, the products, the systems we're building, but also how we are collaborating, how we are co-creating, how we are co-locating, lean startup methods, design thinking methodologies, where also the people which we try to empower to be more self-confident, to bring this creativity in and take a responsibility ship end to end, where we're mixing teams, of course, from the marketing side, from some different processes, business areas, and of course with the IT being very cross-functional. So there's much change happening day by day. And we're learning, of course. That's a journey where the starting point, as I said, has maybe been 1.5 years ago, and there is still a long way to go. But the employees are learning a lot, and our colleagues are learning a lot, the management is learning a lot, and we're striving of creating ultimate customer experience in future which may have more impact.
Do you also think it's essential for businesses to disrupt themselves before somebody else does it for them? The whole disrupt before you're disrupted motto, do you believe in that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, in the past, I'm coming from the automotive industry, so I would also say finance. And if you have a look into finance with fintech, what was happening there and what's happening still today, and then the automotive, of course, with the connected automobile, autonomous driving, electromobility, and even all those mobility shared concepts where the change is going from owning a car to using somehow mobility to getting very effectively and very cheap from A to B. So there, of course, in those industries, there's been happening a lot, and there is a lot of happening these days and even tomorrow. And from my perspective in the insurance sector, talking about big disruptions, which you could compare like what's happening at fintech and what's happening to automotive, autotech. So insurtech is maybe in a time schedule a bit of behind.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to see. Like I said, Lemonade as an example, I see Slice in the UK. And if you see that, of course, those big insurance companies, it's not only Allianz, also our competitors around. So they've been learning from the other industries. And of course, the approach the insurance industry is doing, like sponsoring, like having those incubators and having already game-changing agendas, renewal agendas, and so on. So they're tackling that already. So on both sides, one like an entrepreneur inside the organization, and one building up very flexible startups or funds or let's say venture capital, which is then number 26 was one of our last deals bought by Allianz X. Where disruption is happening also on the outside.
Yeah. Well, a huge thank you for taking the time to come away from the show floor and speak with me. But before I do let you go, can you remind the listeners of where they can find Allianz online, and also contact a member of your team if they have any questions about the digital transformation or anything about our conversation today?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. You may feel free to contact me if you want to get in touch. And saying that, of course, we're looking for talents. I'm also planning a recruiting challenge in June, and everybody is welcome to somehow apply to be also a candidate and part of our Allianz Makeathon.
Well, I do hope you're not bombarded with messages from 165 different countries after saying that. But seriously, a big thank you for coming on today. It really does seem that you guys are leading the way here, but it's not just about people buying experiences, not products. It's about learning. It's about you learning. It's about your customers learning and your whole business learning, and you really seem to be on that journey. So a big thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Neil, for having me.
I love the power of conversations like this. From a chance encounter at a conference, Georgios shared his story on this podcast. But now I want you to be part of their future too. So are you ready for that challenge? As part of their recruiting challenge, 2 exciting days await anyone that wants to sign up to their event in June. And it offers a great insight into the world of Allianz and gives you the opportunity to participate directly in initial job interviews. And combined with teamwork, you'll have the ability to prove your talent and pitch your idea in a big touchdown in front of their executives. Now, I'm going to post a link to the event in the show notes of this episode over at www.techblogwriter.co.uk. And if you need anything else or want to contact me about any element of it, remember, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes or email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. So I really hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you live anywhere in Europe or fancy moving to Europe, I really hope you can make that event in June. And if you do go, I want you to report back to me with your whole experience. Whether you get the job or you don't get the job, I want to hear everything about your experience. So please remember this episode and remember to come back to me. But that's it for today's episode, live from the European Adobe Summit, and I hope you'll join me all again tomorrow. But until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.